Will Homelander and his team of quote-unquote greatest superheroes be able to break something We want to use every past and current members of the Seven to be more fair. We're going to use these characters at their strongest, and we will be using the comic and TV adaptations of the Seven. But Mark doesn't get that privilege. We will only be using the TV version up to season 3 of right now, which is 4 episodes.
Starting off with strength. Obviously, when you think of strength, you automatically think of Homelander. We feel like he would be the best when it comes to talking about strength, with Black Noir, Queen Maeve, and Soulja Boy not falling too far behind. They actually scale similar to Homelander, kinda. If we are talking about the comic versions of the characters, then Black Noir would just be Homelander, but in the show, it's actually 2 different people. The first Black Noir kinda got one-shotted, and the second one is more accurate to the comic book version. So you really got 2 Homelanders to worry about. You also have Soulja Boy.
You might want to gargle my balls.
He's relative to Homelander. For those of you who don't know, Homelander is a weaker version of Superman. He has laser vision, X-ray vision, and a hyper scream able to burst eardrums. He has been shown throwing a Harrier jet easily, which weighs anywhere between 5,530 kilograms to 10,410 kilograms, or 12,191 pounds to 22,950 pounds, depending on if the plane was loaded or not. Queen Maeve once asked him to carry a plane full of people, but he would just crash right through it.
Oh, fly at it, ram it straight.
That kind of speed, either the plane goes over it or I'll punch straight through the hull.
So she was implying that this wouldn't really be a problem for him to lift said plane. Now, we don't think that Maeve would be able to lift a plane by any means, but she was able to damage Homelander enough to make him bleed, so there's that. Moving on to A-Train. A-Train once pulled a train with a broken leg. The average train weighs roughly anywhere between 3,000 to 18,000 tons, or 3 million kg to 1,800,000,000 kg. Or 6,613,868 pounds to 39,683,207 pounds. This is only a fraction of what your mom weighs. For the rest of the members besides the 5 that we named, isn't really worth mentioning in the strength category. Like, they really are just stronger than the average human. Lamplighter, Starlight, the Deep, Stormfront, and Translucent are basically useless in this case. For anyone confused on why Black Noir is in these categories, he's supposed to be a stronger version of Homelander. For Soulja Boy, his attack and lifting strength is implied to be the same or at least relative to Homelander. MM said that Soulja Boy once threw a car through his house.
Soulja Boy takes the Benz, hurls it through our house.
In the show, it was stated that there's nothing on Earth that could kill Homelander. So that means we would have to do some more math. So the strongest force on Earth is nuclear force, right? That means we're gonna use the strongest bomb. The bomb is called the Tsar bomb. I think I'm saying that right. Anyway, a singular kiloton is equal to 1,000 tons. This is around 2 million pounds, or 907,185 kilograms. So the Hiroshima bomb is around 15 kilotons of TNT, or this amount of joules, and can weigh up to roughly 30 million pounds, or about 13 million kilograms. So that means that the Tsar bomb is roughly this number of joules. So implementing the other statement, this would mean that Soulja Boy's punches would scale close to that bomb. This bomb could hypothetically wipe out small countries depending on its size. Soulja Boy is also a walking mini-nuke. His radiation is so strong that it wiped out multiple buildings. This power can also be used as a hack because it can temporarily wipe out the powers in someone's blood. He did this to Kimiko and Maeve. Okay, so overall, we have Soulja Boy's small country level with Black Noir and Homelander scaled slightly above him. Homelander was also able to overpower Soulja Boy, Butcher with powers, and Huey with powers, making him stronger than all 3 of them, but more importantly, making him stronger than Soulja Boy. But not including him with nuking powers, because they never blew him up.
Now for Mark Grayson, let's look at some of the things bro's able to do, but of course only in the show. So in season 2, Mark says that he's stronger than Immortal, and Immortal kind of agrees with him.
Stop it! I'm stronger and faster than you, and you know it! Don't fail.
And Immortal was beating on Omni-Man. Of course, Omni-Man was weakened, but he was still making him bleed. And Omni-Man was able to tank something like this thing, and it barely harmed Omni-Man too. He was able to push back an entire tank by just being mad, lifted up a building, or tried to, and threw back an asteroid. All of that just to lose to the Mauler twins, bro. No way. And I know some people are mad because like Mark is still losing a lot in season 3, but y'all gotta remember, bro's still holding back, and Oliver proves that. And in the same episode, he stopped the missile too, and he took like no damage either. Mark was able to beat a Viltrumite when he wasn't holding back, and only lost because he didn't want to kill the Viltrumite. So let's get into some numbers, where Mark lifted one of the heaviest things the government could find, which is this giant iceberg, and the biggest iceberg in the world weighs, according to British Antarctica survey, almost 1 trillion tonnage, which is over 1 trillion tons. That's a pretty strong depressed kid.
This is where Mark is going to shine. All of the superheroes' durability sucks. I wouldn't say they're inconsistent, just iffy. Starting off with Queen Maeve. We see her tank hits from Homelander, a truck, and Soldier Boy, which is still pretty impressive. The reason we say it's iffy is because they all kind of scale with each other. Maeve was also able to hurt Homelander and vice versa. Obviously, Homelander did more damage to Queen Maeve, but still. We do think Homelander's durability is better than the rest by a lot. I would say Soldier Boy would be the closest, well, besides Black Noir for obvious reasons. Let's start off with Soldier Boy. He's able to tank full-on blows from Homelander, which is pretty impressive compared to all of the other superheroes. His insides are also extremely durable. Like, they were shooting bullets in this guy's mouth and it didn't do anything. The only thing we see hurt Soldier Boy is Homelander. So Homelander's durability is relative to his strength. We've seen a building's debris fall on top of him. Bullets, explosions, and lasers are useless. The only thing we could see killing Homelander is himself or maybe Ryan when he gets older. We saved this guy for last for obvious reasons. Translucent. We're sure a lot of you guys forgot about him since he's the first supe to go early on in season 1. The thing about Translucent is that his outer layer of skin is extremely durable. His skin can alter light in a way to make himself seem invisible. Although his skin might be extremely durable, his insides are not. So overall, we have the 7 scaled relative to their strength besides Translucent.
So with Mark's durability, normal people can't hurt him. He got thrown and dragged through buildings with massive force. And like I mentioned earlier, that building that he was holding up fell on him and he came out unscathed. He was held against his own will, smashing through a train and being physically fine, but not mentally. Getting tossed around like what Superman was doing in Injustice, then getting dragged through a ship and still being decently okay. And then finally he was thrown against Mount Everest and then got punched so hard that the mountain cracked. So this is definitely mountain level durability for season 1, and Mark survived it. And this was pre-buff Mark, so supposedly in season 3 he's more durable than this. So I'm gonna say, or we're gonna say, that he's mountain level durability or a little bit higher than mountain level durability. And some people would scale him higher, but I think I'm okay with mountain level durability. And also Mark has like a healing factor. He got stabbed by this bug, but then when he confronted Cecil, like I don't know, maybe a couple hours later, the wound basically closed. But if we use like anti-feats before season 3, bro was getting jumped by the Mahler twins. Like bro got his dogs in his face and he was bleeding and all these robots were jumping him too. But in season 3, Mark locked in, slaughtered all these robots, which gave him and Omni-Man problems. And yes, I'm gonna scale these robots to the Omni-Man robots because they're basically the same thing. You can make theories about them mass producing it, so the quality is like less and whatnot, but we're just gonna say that they're the same thing. One last thing, Mark was literally bathing in lava. That's like 1300 to 2200 Fahrenheit or 700 to 1200 degrees Celsius, and he's pretty unscathed. Honestly, Mark is pretty...
You would think this is where more of the members could actually be useful, but no. The main focuses are A-Train, Black Noir, and Homelander. Let's start off with A-Train. A-Train is this universe's Flash or Quicksilver, just a lot worse. He doesn't break the speed of light unless you want to use Starlight's powers, but that's kinda iffy. If we say that her light beams are equivalent in speed to light, then yes, he would be fast in the speed of light, because not only is he reacting to her light beams, the beams are actually moving in slow motion compared to how fast A-Train is moving. He once moved so fast that he actually unalived someone and is faster than human eye perception.
So for Mark's speed, we can just use Mark flying to the moon, and it took about 5 seconds in the show. Now the moon is like 238,900 miles away, minus the 400 miles for, you know, Mark being up in the atmosphere. That's also just a number I threw out. We don't know how high Mark was truly in Earth's atmosphere, so that's just a number I low-key threw out. But that's not that big of a difference, so that means Mark traveled 238,500 miles in like 5 seconds, which is equal to 106,701.86 miles per hour. With a 65% speed boost, that's like 176,058 miles per hour, which is not light speed. And if we're scaling A-Train to light speed, that means he's slower than A-Train. But if we scale Mark to Omni-Man, which Omni-Man flew through different galaxies for like a month, as it states a month has passed in season 2, and if Omni-Man traveled through at least 2 galaxies in 1 month, we can do 2 galaxies, which is like 200,000 light years, and divide it by like a month and get around 851 trillion and the rest of the numbers, because I'm not saying all that, which is like 1,269,269 times the speed of light. Now, how does this compare to Marky Poo? Let's assume these 3 Viltrumites were on par with Omni-Man because, you know, they sent 3 Viltrumites to take him out. So Mark basically beat one of them, so he'd be 1/3 equal to Omni-Man, which is still like 200 trillion miles per hour, which is like very iffy because, you know, like flying speed and combat speed are like different things. But I mean, hey, we're gonna use both scenarios of Mark being slower than the speed of light and Mark being faster than the speed of light, and we'll also include it in the scenario, so don't worry. Just real quick, I just want to let you guys know that we spend a lot of time on these videos. Here's my timeline, and this isn't accounting for speed because I'm working on it right now, all that good stuff. So we'd really appreciate it if you guys liked and subscribed. It would mean the world to us. And back to the
If we're being honest, we don't really need to use IQ. They're all relative in intelligence. It's not like Mark is Aizen and plan out the whole fight, so it's gonna be an all-out brawl. Let's get into some scenarios though. Mark obliterates them and it's not even close. Mark is way stronger and durable than any of the 7. You could argue with speed for him at A-Train, but if we take account that Viltrumite thing about Mark scaling to Nolan, then A-Train is not catching him. We feel that Mark is just too strong for any of the members. He will most likely take out Homelander, Soldier Boy, and Black Noir first. Like we said, if A-Train is truly light speed, he could possibly outrun Mark, but we really don't see that happening. Mark can take damage, so there's still hope for the 7. We forgot to mention this girl. Her name is Sister Sage. She is stated to be the smartest person on the planet. With her, they might come up with a plan to take down Mark. Maybe by jumping him or coming at him at different angles. But the real question is, can they hurt someone who is... They can hurt him, but we're not sure if they could kill him. Viltrumites have a healing factor. Not like Wolverine or the Hulk, but they have one. It should be enough for Mark to get the job done. 900,999 out of 1 million times Mark would take this battle.